I chuckled when I saw this. But before we get to that, I want to go back to 1991, when Apple announced and shipped its first PowerBooks. This was the first modern laptop computer. Apple actually invented the modern laptop computer with these PowerBooks. It was the first laptop that had a TFT screen, the first modern LCD screens. It was the first laptop that pushed the keyboard up, creating palm rests, and had an integrated pointing device, in this case, a trackball. Well, of course, almost 20 years later, we've got incredible laptops now. Just a few years ago, in 2007, Apple reinvented the phone with the iPhone. And a few years later, we've got the great iPhone 3GS, the best phone in the world. And so all of us use laptops and smartphones now. Everybody uses a laptop and or a smartphone. And the question has arisen lately, is there room for a third category of device in the middle? Something that's between a laptop and a smartphone. And of course, we've pondered this question for years as well. The bar is pretty high. In order to really create a new category of devices, those devices are going to have to be far better at doing some key tasks. They're going to have to be far better at doing some really important things. Better than the laptop, better than the smartphone. What kind of tasks? Well, things like browsing the web. That's a pretty tall order. Something that's better at browsing the web than a laptop? Okay. Doing email. Enjoying and sharing photographs. Video, watching videos. Enjoying your music collection. Playing games. Reading ebooks. If there's going to be a third category of device, it's going to have to be better at these kinds of tasks than a laptop or a smartphone. Otherwise, it has no reason for being. Now, some people have thought that that's a netbook. The problem is, netbooks aren't better.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Netbooks really aren't better at anything. If you missed that part, I probably turned him down at the best part. We'll talk about netbooks. We'll talk about how all of us thought the iPad was going to be a giant failure, but let's get back to Steve.
They're not better than a laptop at anything. They're just cheaper. They're just cheap laptops. And we don't think that they're a third category device. But we think we've got something that is. And we'd like to show it to you today for the first time. And we call it the iPad. So, let me show it to you now. This is what it looks like.
Check those bezels.
Right here.
The design team would cringe at those chunky bezels these days.
Very thin.
Very thin. Everything's always very thin.
So, let's give you a little overview. It's very thin. And you can change the background screen, the home screen, to personalize it any way you want. People put their own photos on it, I'm sure, but we ship a few and you can make it anything you want.
The Newton. Take a memo on your Newton.
This device does
Beat up Martin.
Is extraordinary.
Eat up Martha.
You can browse the web with it. It is the best browsing experience you've ever had. It's phenomenal to see a whole web page right in front of you.
Phenomenal's the other word. Gorgeous, beautiful, phenomenal. Let's do a count, shall we? There's our first phenomenal.
Way better than a laptop. Way better than a smartphone. And you can turn iPad any way you want. Up, down, sideways. It automatically adjusts however you want to use it. And again, to see the whole web page is phenomenal. Right there, holding the internet in your hands. It's an incredible experience. Phenomenal for mail. Want to focus in
Phenomenal
on a
number
message?
2.
You can do
Magical.
that.
Yeah, let's see if we get any
See your
magicals.
inbox. Again, just turn iPad sideways.
Drinking game.
Different view on your mail.
Every unnecessary
Push the compose
superlative.
window, a keyboard pops up that's almost life size. It's a dream to type on.
A dream.
For photos,
Gorgeous.
your albums are shown as stacks of photos. Your albums are events. You can unfold them, look at all your photos, flick through them. Got some great slideshows built in. It's a wonderful way
Wonderful.
to share your photos with friends and family. Built in a calendar. You see your month's activities or your day's activities and everything in between. Built in a great address book
Weeks?
for your contacts.
Is that what's between months and days? Guess
Have
so.
a great Maps application, which works with Google's back end. Show you maps, satellite views, zoom in on things. iPad is an awesome way to enjoy your music collection. And of course, we have the iTunes Store. Built right into the iPad, so you can discover music, you can purchase it, movies, TV shows.
This is back when we purchased media.
iTunes
We actually
University,
bought stuff
everything
that we
built right
owned.
into
We didn't
the
just
iPad.
stream and subscribe.
YouTube. You can watch YouTube on it, including YouTube in high def now. They've got
Including
a lot of
your
high def
surfing dog videos.
And of course, it's awesome to watch TV shows and movies on. So that gives you a little overview of what the iPad can do, but it's nothing like seeing it. So I'd love to show it to you now. Let's take a look at it.
Show it, Steve. To give you some context, like 90% of tech journalists and tech enthusiasts thought this would be a
using
giant
this thing
failure
is
and was
remarkable.
completely
It's-
unnecessary.
It's so much more intimate
What did we
than a
know?
laptop, and it's so much more capable than a smartphone with this gorgeous large display. So this is the lock screen. I unlock it, the icons fly in. Let's go right to the web. So here we are at apple.com.
Yes, back when YouTube
and
just
I'm
had
just gonna go
videos.
to Safari. I just touched
There weren't
the
all these
bookmarks
evil
icon
YouTubers
and
putting
touch the
ads
New
in
York
front of their
Times,
videos.
let's say. And here we are, right at the New York Times. You can see how fast it is. And I can just scroll around here and look at the whole front page of the New York Times. Anywhere I want to go, anything I want to make bigger, I can make bigger.
Look at those
If I want to go into a story,
mobile, not
I can
optimized
just touch it.
pages.
And I go into that story. Back to the front page. And so I can browse around the New York Times so easily. It's really great. I go down here. You know? See what's happening today? And again, just so easy to go into a story like this. See the photographs, read the story.
So we take it
that
for
simple.
granted now. There's many of you
Let me
that
go to
may have
another
never
website here.
been in a world
Let's
where
go to
you don't
Time
just
Magazine.
touch your stuff, but we weren't.
See what's
We
up
were,
on
it
Time's
was mouse,
website?
it was point and click. No one, you couldn't do your pinch and your zoom and your tap. Like this was actually brand new.
Flick through the website, see what's happening.
Oop.
Go to another one here, Fandango. Want to buy some tickets to a movie? Grab the tablet that's in the kitchen.
I wonder if Steve's going to blame the
Go to Fandango on
Wi-Fi
your
or
iPad and buy
the
your
tech
tickets.
pundits. Oh, the classic movie When
that
in
simple.
Rome.
The whole website in the palm of your hands. Let me go to another one. It's kind of nice, National Geographic.
We understand the web, Steve.
And again, you know, we can look at this in landscape mode if we'd like. Go back to portrait.
Ooh, a new SE. Those
Very,
things are
very
nice.
simple.
I kind of want one.
And it adapts to the way I want to use it.
Everything is touch these days, to the point where my children get something that's not touch and they just swipe at it because it's just
Again, I can
it's
zip
natural
around this
for them.
website, just touching on pictures of animals, what I want to see.
Like Steve's having his own little personal experience there. Kind of reminds me of me when I'm just here ranting. I'm like,
It's just gorgeous.
am I just talking to
Right in
myself?
the palm of your hand. So that is browsing the web. Let's go to email. So here I've got a message. As you can see, I can have photographs in the message, and I can have my inbox right here. I can turn it sideways like this, and I can also browse messages just by having my inbox here on the left. Take a look and see what kind of messages I've got. Here's another one. This is the
right. While Steve explains how email works, I'll throw up our first question here for folks who are here live. What was your first iPad? A few folks have already let us know. Mine was the iPad 2, which I think someone else mentioned as well. But let us know. Do you own an iPad? If so, what was the first one that you ever had? And what year approximately did you get into iPads?
all the wineries. And I can plan out my trip to Napa Valley. So that's how simple mail is. Now, if I want to reply to a message or go ahead and send a message, I just hit the compose button here. And up pops this gorgeous keyboard. And let's say Scott Forstall and Phil Schiller. And oops. There we go. It's that simple to do email on the iPad.
It's easy enough to do.
Okay, next, let's go into Photos. This is what Photos looks like. I can just look at everything as a list of photos, again, in portrait or landscape. And just
in Photos, you can look at photos as photos.
Look at any photo like this just by tapping on it.
I mean, it's 10 years ago. It does feel dated because we take all of this for granted. But again, there was no portable touchscreen device that actually let you just scroll and flick through.
It's that simple.
Web, photos, email. It was actually
I also
very
can
different.
look at my photos
and we didn't think we needed it.
Grabs the metadata from any PC or Mac. And if I'm on a Mac, I can also get events, faces, and places from iPhoto. And once I have these, I can look inside of any album, as an example, and say, is this the one I'm looking for? And I can just pinch it open. No, that's not it. Is this the one? No, that's not it. This must be the one. Yep, that's it. And again, just flick through these photos. I have a little bar at the bottom if I want to scrub through them. Or I can just flick left or right through the photos.
Ooh, old school.
It's really wonderful.
Those iPad first gens probably be vintage by now, my friend. Probably get a good dollar on eBay for that.
Events, faces. Let's see all the photos with Liz in them here.
So it's the start of Apple's spiral down into just creepy privacy stuff. It's like,
shows me a map.
We'll work out who all your friends are.
So I can just pull down one of the pins, push on one of the pins, and see all the photos I took there, see all the photos I took in New York. Let's go to Paris. Here's all the photos I took in Paris. Just tap on it to open them. And in addition to just looking at them as we have, we have built-in slideshows. And so I can bring up a slideshow here and select my music and pick one of the different transitions. I'm going to pick one called Origami. Just push.
Why don't we lose our audio? That's a little odd. The audio's cut out from my video here. Steve, come back. It got too boring. Even the VLC said, I don't know why you're watching this, so we're going to just cut your sound. It's obviously not cut it for here, but it is over there. Let's just see if we skip forward a little bit if we get our sound back. This is.
It's the fact that brushes.
Take a look and see what kind of messages I've got. Here's another one. My photo.
All right, we obviously we had a chunk there where we missed it. That's okay.
Buy them.
We're now into music, which we're going to show a little bit of iTunes. And it's gone off again. Oh, it must be. I see what they've done. Right, thank you. Oh,
And of course,
So whoever I
in addition
acquired
to,
this video
music,
from
I've got
has
movies,
obviously
TV
manually
shows,
already done
podcasts,
what I did.
audiobooks.
So in previous ones, I've turned down any copyrighted music and just talked over it. So where it goes silent, that's where it's been removed by the original video uploader of this one.
Drag my finger over.
Are we back to the calendar again?
and get a little more detail on them. I can look at things as a week view, or a day view, or a list view.
Days come before weeks. Weeks come before months.
Very nice calendar. And
very nice.
Great contacts application. Great address book. Just go through it like this if we want.
Yep, they've done my dirty work for me.
As an example.
It's like,
great contacts and calendars.
It's like paper. Haven't had too many superlatives.
Now, we've also
got a great gorgeous?
Maps app, as I was showing you. And again, here's the Eiffel Tower. We just tapped the corner. Let's go to satellite view.
Loved him some Eiffel
and again,
Tower,
we can
didn't
just pinch this as big as we'd like. There we go. There's the Eiffel Tower. So great Maps app. Let's go to our current location here. Here's our current location in San Francisco. And I'm going to type in sushi.
Sushi and Paris. Like almost every demo is like, where can I go get some sushi? Me and Phil Schiller are going to Paris for some sushi.
There we go. Here's Sushi Boat. So I want to go find that one after this presentation, maybe get some lunch, and I can just hit on Google Street View right here. And there's Sushi Boat right there.
They're starting to warm up. This prozo is interesting because it starts with most people kind of in shock. Like you hear those awkward silences you had at the start where he's like browsing the web, and then people sort of start getting it as they go through, and then the sycophantic applause starts kicking in.
Video is wonderful. Let's go to YouTube, and I'm going to pick a clip called Wet and Woofy that I know is in high def on YouTube.
Oh, remember the star rating system in YouTube? There was no thumbs up, thumbs down. It was a star. You could do, see on the bottom right there, 1 star up to 5 stars.
Go into landscape.
So much less hate back in 2010.
Isn't that incredible?
Incredible surfing dog.
All right. So that's YouTube. And again, here's related clips and more from that person. And again, whether it's in portrait or landscape, it just all works. And of course, videos. Let's go into landscape for this.
Yeah, and very much had those bulbous Web 2.0 buttons back then, didn't we?
You know, so I can go over a TV show like Modern Family as an example, pick an episode and watch it. Let's do that with a movie.
Let's not watch Modern Family, please.
And let's go to chapters. Oh, what's a good one? You know,
kind of wonder how much the studios would have paid to be included in this stuff.
And again, I can scrub through if I want to.
There you go. Playback of video. And once again, I keep saying it, but it looks like it was very simple because the last 10 years it's become just completely ubiquitous. But back in the day, doing this sort of stuff was, brand new.
Pick another movie that I love, which is Up. Awesome movie.
Disney Pixar.
And one of my favorite sequences ever in any movie is this sequence in Up right here. Isn't that wonderful? So that's this video.
Thank you, person who's edited this one.
And that gives you
I picked the right version to show it clearly.
As to what the iPad can do. Isn't that awesome?
Yep. Clap it up. It was pretty awesome. Who would have thought that we'd get to here now?
I have to say, though, watching it is nothing like getting one in your hands.
Right.
And feeling all of that just right in your hands and right underneath your fingertips.
Kind of ridiculous. Like even when he's like, look how thin it is, and looks at the first one, and now you look at this, which I actually think is too thin.
The iPad is really
I would take an extra millimeter,
half an inch,
and have a headphone jack just quietly.
And it weighs just 1.5 pounds. That is thinner and lighter than any netbook. And it's got a gorgeous 9.7-inch IPS display.
Gorgeous
Super
count.
high quality display using IPS technology so you get great angle of view as well. Very high quality display. And as you know, Apple
Yes.
builds the best
Ooh.
capacitive multi-touch sensors in the world. Married to our great display, it's terrific. Super responsive, super precise. iPad is powered by our own custom silicon. We have an incredible group that does
10 years
custom
later,
silicon at Apple.
back to
We have a
custom
chip called
silicon
A4,
for
which is our most
everything.
advanced chip we've ever done that powers the iPad. It's got the processor, the graphics, the I/O, the memory controller, everything in this one chip, and it screams. And you can have 16, 32, or 64 gigabytes of flash solid-state storage inside the iPad. It's got the latest in wireless networking, Wi-Fi 802.11n, and the latest Bluetooth 2.1. And the usual suspects, accelerometer, compass, speaker, microphone. It's got a 30-pin connector, so it plugs into the whole ecosystem of iPod accessories.
The old 30-pin.
And it's got battery. What is the battery life of this remarkable device?
Ooh, it's hours.
We've been able to achieve
Number of hours.
10 hours of battery
That's
life
a whole day.
in this 1.5-pound device.
To give you an idea, the A4 chip
10 hours of battery life.
that they have in this one, the A4 chip, 1 gigahertz, had 256 megabytes of DDR RAM and came in 16 to 64. If we look at the latest iPad Pro, it has a A12 processor with 8 cores, 6 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, and has up to a terabyte of storage. So 10 years, yeah, we've come a long way.
It would still have charge. It's remarkable. Environmentally, the iPad's a great citizen. It's arsenic-free, bromide flame retardant-free, mercury-free, PVC-free, and its aluminum and glass enclosure is highly recyclable. So that's a little bit of an overview of the iPod's hardware.
iPad.
Now, let's go back to software.
It would be
We've
hard
seen
when you're
some
Steve and you
great
had so
built-in
many
applications,
iDevices.
some all-new built-in applications. But now let's talk about third-party applications. Let's talk about the App Store. And to help me do that, I'd like to invite up Scott Forrestal, our Senior Vice President of iPhone Software. Scott?
Thank you.
Woo, our first VP. What is it with vice presidents?
morning.
We don't have vice presidents in Australia, but there seems to be a
The App
VP
Store
of
has been
everything
a
in every
huge
US company.
success. We
Strange.
launched it just about a year and a half ago, and already our customers have downloaded over 3 billion apps,
It's a lot of apps.
choosing from among the more than 140,000 apps available on the store. Well, we built the iPad.
I love
to
that
run
too,
virtually
Jade.
every one of these apps.
It's like when you see an
unmodified,
advertisement for like
right out of the
beef and they're
box.
like hormone-free
Now,
beef, and you're
We
like,
can do that in 2 ways.
does that mean you were
We
putting
can run
hormones
these
in it
apps
before?
with pixel for
not really a
pixel
selling point.
accuracy, black boxed in the center of the screen.
Right?
We can also automatically
I'd
pixel
like some
double
extra arsenic, please,
and run those apps
in my technology.
full screen. This is really cool. Let me go ahead and show you how it works. So here I have
You can't
an
have
iPad.
arsenic without arse.
We downloaded a number of
Wait,
apps
what?
from the App Store, all unmodified. And let me launch just a couple for you. We'll start with Facebook. Here it is.
Facebook for the win.
This is the Facebook that you know and love. It just works. I
It
can
was.
tap on a photo. I can flick to a new photo. And now if you look in the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a button that says 2x. When I tap on it, we automatically scale the
It
application
embiggens
up
it.
full
The
screen.
original
I
embiggening.
go back to my news feed. I can switch, say, to my profile, see my wall. It all just works.
Your
Now,
wall.
Facebook uses a lot of text, photos, and some video. But what about an application that really drives the graphics hardware? What about a game? Let me go ahead and launch a game here. This comes from ESPN, and it's called X Games Snowcross. Now you can see at the beginning of this game, it plays a video. The video works great on the iPad.
Can you say never say die attitude?
They didn't quite have down the just getting to it. Like when you compare it to the most recent Prezos where they've, they're a little bit slicker.
An arcade.
But again, it was 2010.
Go and choose the default. I will race Breckenridge with Levi, and let's go. So here you can see this is an OpenGL ES game, so it really drives the graphics hardware. And again, this is an unmodified game right off the App Store.
He's not very good at it. Look at that start.
I'm steering it with the accelerometer, and even the game I can take full screen.
Has anyone ever used the accelerometer to legitimately play a game? I find it the worst possible.
You can see that even with an OpenGL ES game, very graphically intense, you get tremendous frames. I have to say, having played some games on here, they're smooth and they're incredibly fun. So there you go. Right out of the App Store, unmodified.
That guy looks really thrilled.
The great thing is, all of those iPhone apps that you know and love, that you've already been running, will run on your iPad. In fact, when you buy your new iPad, just take it home, hook it up to iTunes, download all those apps that you already have right onto your iPad.
Back when you had to like use iTunes to sync all your iDevices.
Now,
never again.
If the developer spends some time modifying their application, they can take full advantage of this large touchscreen display. And you can see that's what we did for all of our applications. We rewrote the user interface of every one of our apps to take full advantage of this large touchscreen display that comes with the iPad, like photos and music, calendar.
Yeah, you got to remember, Jeff, that this was when plug and play was the big phrase, and it was lovingly known as plug and pray because of how often it would not work.
To now support development for the iPad as well. And we're releasing this SDK today. So developers...
Script says pause for applause.
Developers can go to apple.com today and download the SDK and get going. And this SDK even includes an iPad simulator, so you can run your iPad apps right on your Mac as you develop them. You know, we think it's going to be a whole other gold rush for developers as they build apps for the iPad. And of course, every iPad comes with the App Store loaded up on it. So you have a great distribution channel to get your apps out to all of our customers. Now,
how funny was it at the time that your iPhone was a 3.5-inch screen and your iPad was 9.7 inch? And what's happened over time is we've got like the iPad mini at 7.9 inch and we've got the iPhone Max at what, 6.1 inches? So like the devices just sort of went, so now your iPhone is almost as big as your iPad.
And so just about 2 weeks ago, we invited a few developers to Apple to give them a sneak peek at the iPad and see what they could create in just a couple short weeks. And I'd like to invite a few of them on stage to show you what they've created, starting with GameLoft. Great stuff. Next up.
Great stuff,
the New York Times.
This one did have a few trims that I didn't notice because it's over an hour with the trims.
For more than 150 years. It's commonly referred to as
just a slight aside here. If you are a retro PC user like myself and clearly Scott, you'd remember IRQ and DMA channels, trying to get your sound card to work, and as well as your modem and conflicting DMA and IRQ. Oh, yeah, it was a mess. You don't know how lucky you have it these days, kids.
Thanks, Scott. It's great to be here today. I want to introduce my colleague, Jennifer Brook, the interaction designer on this application, and Adam Kaplan, the engineer. So Steve showed you the website, the Times website. It's just incredibly beautiful. Unbelievable imagery, unbeatable readability. So why did we come out here 3 weeks ago to develop this new application for the iPad? Well, we developed an application for the iPhone that has been downloaded over 3 million times. And we optimized that for that device.
I'm going to turn him down. Not saying that I'm more interesting than what he's got to say, but we'll just leave him in the background there for just a moment because we've got such a long video here today. I normally do sort of a bit of a what happened in 2010 at the end of the show, but we'll jump in and talk about it because as much as the New York Times app is important, I'm sure for many people, it's not that interesting 10 years later. We get it. It's a media consumption app. But if you want to flash back a little bit to what was happening in 2010. So in February, we had the Winter Olympics in Vancouver, which for me as an ice hockey fan, back when the NHL sent their players to the Winter Olympics, it was a lot of fun. In April, the European sort of financial crisis, if you remember, Greece, basically Greece's money was worth like nothing. It wasn't actually worth the paper it was printed on. So they had a bit of a challenge there, which is kind of still ongoing, you might say, for our friends. Hello, those in the UK and Europe. In June, Soccer World Cup in South Africa. Spain won that one. So a lot of sport went on here in Australia. Julia Gillard was re-elected as our Prime Minister. She was our first female Prime Minister, was elected the previous election. Well, no, she wasn't. There were so many leadership changes and weird things that happened here in Australia. And then technology related, in October, Instagram, was first launched, October 2010. So Instagram's nearly 10 years old as well. And November, a little group called WikiLeaks leaked a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of top secret information. So if anyone remembers back to the WikiLeaks scandal, which is still going on, where's Julian Assange these days? He's somewhere. So he's hiding out somewhere, or he's under. I don't know. I can't follow it. It's been going on for too long. So that was 2010. Unlike these days, not a lot happened in a year. Like they were the biggest items that I could find that were relevant. So let's get back to our New York Times friends, shall we, and see if anything's happening.
Digital journalism. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Sorry, folks. Sorry, Martin. But you're a little dull.
I already find myself reading the New York Times with my iPad in the morning through Safari. I can't wait to get this app. Next is Brushes. Brushes is an extremely popular iPhone painting app.
Does this still exist?
It's used by artists all over the world to create amazing works of art.
I'm not an artist
just
type,
using their fingertips.
so I don't use a lot of art apps.
Equally amazing.
Let's see if Brushes is still a thing.
Brushes is a one-person shop. To show you what he's been able to accomplish in just a couple of weeks, I'd like to bring up that one person, Steve Sprang. Steve.
Yep, looks like it still exists. $2.99.
I like that.
Is this it?
Brushes is a simple yet powerful painting application designed for the iPhone. Artists of all skill levels have used it to produce countless paintings with just their fingertips. These paintings have appeared on the web, in galleries, and even in print. New York City street scenes by George Colombo have been used on the cover of The New Yorker on 3 occasions. Today, I'd like to show you how Brushes looks on the iPad. We'll start here in the gallery, where I've included a handful of original iPhone paintings. You can swipe between these, and you'll be able to share them in a variety of ways. When you want to edit a painting, you simply tap it, and it expands to fill the screen. Brushes takes full advantage of the new interface elements available in iPhone OS 3.2, allowing you to access your controls without significantly obscuring your artwork. The color panel has been redesigned to include an area for swatches where you can store your favorite colors. These can be rearranged, and you can double tap one to quickly select it and dismiss the panel. Of course, all of your favorite brushes from the iPhone are available here too. You can adjust the size, the spacing, and the opacity. By pinching, you can zoom in up to 32 times. And by tapping and holding, you can activate the eyedropper tool, which allows you to pick up existing colors off the painting. Painting is as simple as dragging your finger across the screen. In this example, I'm removing the umbrella by painting over it with the background color. If you mess up, you can always undo. When you're done painting,
it's weird because he sounds like he's talking off of a teleprompter, or it's probably just memorized. He's like, I'm going to say exactly these exact words. Would be daunting being on the stage in an Apple presentation.
I'm really excited about the possibilities for Brushes on this device. Artists have already done amazing things with the iPhone, and I think with this larger screen, they're going to have a true portable paint studio. I can't wait to see what they can do with it, and I plan to have Brushes available at the product launch.
I think the last time I heard of Brushes was when I watched this 10 years ago.
Thanks, Steve. It's amazing. I mean, imagine an artist with a canvas this large. They can carry anywhere they go, including art students, in a way is only 1.5 pounds. No paints, no easel. It's going to be incredible. Next up, electronic arts. And last up is MLB.com.
Sports. It's in the game.
MLB.com is the official website of Major League Baseball and the publisher of MLB.com At Bat. Now, that app has been downloaded nearly 2 million times and has streamed over 60 million videos, making it one of the most popular sports apps in the App Store.
I really apologize to baseball fans, but the video is 1:10, and I'm going to try and get us a little bit of time back here. So if you're really into your MLB apps, you can go back and watch this afterwards. But we're just going to give ourselves a little bit of time ahead because look how long we spend talking about baseball. All right, let's get back to the video with Yes Duco.
So let developers get going on that. Now, while we wait for those apps to come out, we can all run all of our existing iPhone apps.
EA have a lot of my cash.
Right on our iPad. And that is the app story for the iPad. Steve.
Yeah. Back to Steve.
Thank you, Scott. Isn't it awesome?
Awesome.
And these guys only
that's the other
had
one.
2.5 weeks to work on this stuff. So imagine what they're going to do in the next few months. People are going to go crazy.
Their apps will be gorgeous,
So, we've seen
beautiful,
some really
wonderful,
great apps. Let me show
phenomenal.
you another one of our apps that we're very excited about. Of course, that's an ebook reading app. Now, Amazon's done a great job of pioneering this functionality with their Kindle. And we're going to
I
stand
bought
on
my
her
mum that
shoulders
very Kindle,
and go a
like
bit
the
further.
first ever Kindle.
So this is
Actually, no, that's the
what
second
a Kindle looks
one,
like.
I
I'm
think.
sure many of you have used one. This is reading a book on the
an
new
iPad.
It's really nice, and our new app
It's really nice.
is called iBooks.
If you want eye strain
Now, iBooks
from the
has a bookshelf,
backlit LED.
looks like this, where you have all your books. If you want to read one, you just saw what it looks like.
Does it still look like that?
Terrific. You can go into portrait and
I wonder
see
if they've
both
updated
pages
that
if
lately.
you like.
Pretty old school. I think it still looks pretty much the same,
And
doesn't
in
it?
addition to having your bookshelf and being able to read books, there's a
Oh,
button
they've removed the
in
shelf.
the upper left corner of the bookshelf, which is the store. And we've created the new
They've made it all
iBook
boring.
store,
Look, everything's just
fully integrated
everything's
with the
just so
iBooks
boring
app
these days.
to allow you to discover and purchase and download ebooks right onto your iPad. So you can discover books. We've got, of course, our top charts lists, the New York Times bestseller lists, and we've got 5 of the largest publishers in the world that are supporting us in this and are going to have all their books on the store. And we're going to open up the floodgates for the rest of the publishers in the world starting this afternoon. So we're going to have a lot of books on the bookstore. We're very excited about this. We think it's going to be a great app. So let me go ahead and show it to you.
Show us, Steve. While he does that, I've got a question for you. Our second question here of the show. Have you ever read a whole book on your iPad? I haven't read a full-length book. I've read audiobooks, but I've never read
Probably the best
a
thing is
whole
let's go into the store right now. I hit the store
page-turning
button, and it's kind of
adult
like a
book.
secret passageway.
Let me know.
It flips around, and here is the iBook store. And if you've used iTunes or the App Store, you're already familiar with this. And we can look at books here. We can look at the New York Times bestseller lists, etc. Let's go back here. And I want to actually buy True Compass by Edward Kennedy. So I just tap on it. I get more detail about it here. Take a look at the reviews of it. And I'm going to buy it. I get a sample of it to read if I'd like, but I'm sold already, so I'm just going to go tap on it and buy this book. And the book downloads right onto my bookshelf.
I
like
loved
that.
those bookshelves. I
And
miss
that's all
them.
there is.
I'm with you. Was it Tom that said the 3D interface? Everything's just so flat now.
It's just so simple. And
Bring
now if I
back
want
the
to read
bookshelf.
that book, I just tap on it. And here it is. And this is what it's like to read a book. I have some controls. I can just tap in the center and the controls go away, get them back, send them away. And
These are the
to
books I'm
flip the
reading these
page, I
days.
just
Judy
flip forward. I
Bloom
tap
for the win.
anywhere on the right.
Judy Bloom fans in the
And I
house.
flip forward. flip back, just tap on the left. That's it. I can even flip myself if I want by dragging it, if I'd like, you know. Very simple. And I can go to the table of contents here, and I can just pick a chapter and go there. I'm going to pick part 2, Brotherhood.
Yes, I hear you.
And again, you can have photos, black and white, or color. You can have video if you'd like in your books, whatever the author wants. It's very, very easy. And this is what it's like. And we can change the font size if we'd like, bigger or smaller. We can change the font. Pick a different font.
Fonts for the win.
Whatever you want. And that is iBooks.
Oh, really? I don't. A lot of things I don't remember, though. I'm getting old.
So iBooks, again, a great reader, a great online bookstore. The iBookstore, all in one really great app. We use the EPUB format, and so it is the most popular open book format in the world. And we're very, very excited about this. We think the iPad is going to make a terrific ebook reader, not just for popular books, but we are also very excited about textbooks as well. Now, something very exciting. iWork. A little over a year ago, I asked the head of our iWork team to take a look at creating a version of iWork for the iPad. And the initial reaction was, the iWork apps, Keynote, Pages and Numbers, are really heavy-duty apps. They require a lot of horsepower. Could the tablet power them? And the answer turned out to be a resounding, you betcha. And then, could we come up with an entirely new user interface for these apps? It's very different than running on a personal computer. And what they came up with is really magnificent. And so, to tell us about iWork on iPad, I'd like to invite up Phil Schiller, our Senior Vice President of Product Marketing. Phil?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is really exciting. iWork is a suite of applications that millions and millions of our customers on the Mac truly love. These applications are innovative, they're beautiful, they're creative, they're fun, and our customers at home, in schools, and in business are able to create professional quality presentations, word processing documents, and spreadsheets, all with this amazing software. And as Steve told you, the iWork team has been hard at work for a year now, seeing if they can take this amazing software and bring it to a multi-touch tablet, the iPad. And I can tell you, they've done some amazingly remarkable work. We have a completely new version of Keynote designed specifically for the iPad, where you can create professional presentations just with your fingers. There's a complete new version of Pages. It is the most beautiful word processor you will ever see. And there's a complete new version of Numbers, a spreadsheet that is fun and cool to use. When's the last time someone's told you that?
No spreadsheet is
And
fun
really, the
or
only
cool
way
to use.
to appreciate how amazing the software
Only
is
giant nerds like
for me
me
to
enjoy
show you.
spreadsheets.
So I'm really honored to be the first to show you the new iWork applications on the tablet. So here we go. Sit in the chair. Let's launch Keynote.
I'm
Keynote
sitting in
runs
Steve's chair.
in landscape orientation because that's the way our slides are. Our slides are designed horizontally. And when we launch into Keynote, the
really
first thing we
used
do is
Keynote.
we see
A lot of
our
people seem
slide
to love it, but I've
library.
never
This is the library of
got into it.
presentations that we have created in Keynote. I can create a new presentation by just tapping a button to do so, and I have access to these gorgeous
Oh, it's all
templates,
exciting.
just as you would
Gorgeous!
expect
Whoop.
in Keynote.
Gorgeous alert.
I'm going to go into this first presentation, 7 Wonders of the World. We open it up, And the first thing you see is a
Beautiful word
great
processor.
layout. I have
Fun
a big, beautiful
spreadsheets.
slide to
Fun,
work
fun,
on,
fun.
so I can create my content. I've got some menu items on the top, and I have my slide navigator, something familiar to all Keynote users, on the left-hand side. To move around the slide navigator, I just scroll with my finger. It's that easy. I want to go to a slide, I just tap
It's
on
that
it.
it just works.
Now, this slide shows you it has beautiful text.
Beautiful.
Great
Ding, ding, ding,
templates.
ding, ding.
Slide 3, you can see there's a table. You can create tables right in Keynote. Next slide 4 shows a chart. You can create beautiful charts and graphs in Keynote. Now here I am on
Beautiful.
slide 5. It's an introduction slide. I think I want that further up in the presentation.
a
How do I move the
gorgeous
slide around in
introduction.
the navigator without a keyboard or mouse?
Do you
It's really
tap it and
simple. I'm
drag
gonna
it?
hold my finger down on it. It pops up out of the
I
canvas.
know, I
And I
know.
drag it wherever I want. And
I
let
know you're
go.
watching this going, there's nothing to that. But again, I keep saying this, but it was actually revolutionary. We didn't have this stuff at all. Even touchscreens didn't have drag capability. It was literally just tap. So tap and drag was pretty massive. All right, this gets a little bit long. So what I'm going to do, we'll go for another poll question here from the audience. I want to hear from you. I would imagine a lot of you use music apps, but apart from music, what is the app that you use most on your iPad or your iPhone? What's your go-to app? Let's share some of your favorite, whether it's productivity or movies or other creative apps. But if it's not music related, what do you reckon is the #1 app that you would use on your iPad? Let's share some knowledge here on what your faves are.
I want to resize a photo. How do I do that? Easy.
Would you
I
pinch
grab
it?
one of these blue handles and I start resizing. Now let's say I'm resizing this photo and I want it to be exactly the same size as the one below it. While I'm resizing, I just tap the other one and it sees I want to match them and I let go and they're now matched to the same size. I want to rotate a photo. I use 2 fingers. I want to mask a photo. Watch this. I just double tap and I can expand this image, move it around, tap done. I've just done a mask, and that's an advanced technique that people do in presentations. It's so easy in Keynote. What else is easy? Animations. Keynote has beautiful animations. The same is true on the iPad. Let's say I want to bring this chart in with a build. Well, I go into animation mode. It's a button on the top right, and I see there's no build-in assigned yet, so I'm going to tap the build-in button, and I have access to all these great animations. Let's do a scale, and it will automatically preview that scale. I use the same technique if I want to create transitions on slides. In animation mode, I tap the slide. I see that there hasn't been a transition set yet, so I select it, and I have great transitions.
I'm such an audio harsh nerd because I'm like listening to this going, they haven't set up his microphone very well. He's popping his P's too much. He's leaning down, and look where his lavalier mic is. He's talking directly into it, and he's every time he pees, he pops it.
And once I do that, we're now presenting, and I can advance slides by either tapping or swipe right to go forward or left to go back. So I tap to go to the next slide, tap to bring up that chart we just animated, tap to do that cube transition we just did. Now watch this one. When I tap,
Tappa, tappa, tappa.
that's called Magic Move. Automatic animation transitions created in Keynote. A very advanced feature. That's on the iPad as well. Look at the quality of some of these graphics and transitions.
I would say that they are, yeah, beautiful. I was going to say gorgeous,
double tap,
but beautiful is okay.
I'm back into Keynote.
So what apps are folks using?
Now to all my presentations.
GarageBand? Well,
So that's
yes,
a very
that
quick
is
review of
a
Keynote
music,
and all
but
the power
yeah,
it
outside of
has
music,
on the
Scott,
iPad.
we've got YouTube. Yes, that's probably mine because I use a lot of YouTube. We've got Safari. Yeah, that's a good point. I probably use Chrome more than anything. I watch YouTube in Safari because I can use the desktop version. Yeah, that is cool. Tom Rochelle says Facebook, followed by YouTube and Safari. Yeah. Libby, yeah, allows you to borrow ebooks from your library. If you've not, so I'm going to go off on a weird random tangent here for a moment while it goes through and tells you how to use Pages. If you've never registered for your local library, definitely here in Australia, and I'm pretty sure around the world, you'd actually be blown away by how much free content you can get. And it's not just books these days, but it's ebooks, it's audio books, it's like videos and movies, like all this digital content stuff that you can get is it's quite ridiculous. So if you haven't registered for your library or seen what you can get for free, and our library even, do you know lynda.com? like it's an online learning platform. You even get a free membership to lynda.com. So instead of paying, I think it's like $25 a month or something ridiculous. It's not quite that much, but it's a lot. But yeah, if you're a member of your local library, a lot of them offer online learning courses, and many of them just use Lynda as their default learning platform. So yeah, there you go. There's your tip of the day, courtesy of SM Borthwick and myself. If you don't use your local library services, there's a heap of free stuff there. Let's get back to giraffes.
I'm going to tap the info button on the top to bring down a control panel where I can set a whole bunch of things. Formats, I can create outlines, I can even affect the layout of this text. With one tap, I'm going to make it a 2-column format. And with just that simple, easy control, I create a beautiful 2-column format with text wrapped around it. So that's just a brief view of Pages. It is the most beautiful word processor you've ever used.
Is it fun though?
And last, Numbers. Numbers again.
Let's show you how we can make spreadsheets fun.
I may have created. There's great templates. Let's go into this first one, the soccer team. Now this is going to show a lot right in this first screen. You can see I have great text. I have beautiful photos. Of course, I have tables of data. I have charts linked to tables. I even have tabs along the top. So one document can actually hold many spreadsheets. So let's do some typical tasks you might do with a spreadsheet, but all without a keyboard
This
or
is
mouse.
my time to shine.
Tap the center table. Let's say I want to rearrange.
Welcome to like
50%
of my work day.
I'm going to tap right above the column,
Numbers in
Andrew.
spreadsheets.
I'm going to grab this handle and also select the Amy column. And let's move those columns to the end of the table.
Oh, I wish my spreadsheets were that simple.
They pop up, and I just drag them across, let go wherever I want them. And I've reorganized columns in a table, and the linked chart has automatically been updated as well. It's that easy. Let's go to the next tab. I have some more data in a table here and a pie chart associated with it. What about adding more rows of data and maybe doing a calculation on those columns to do a subtotal? That's really easy. I'm going to tap the table. I'm going to tap the button on the bottom left to add a row. And now I'm going to double tap the first cell in this row, and something really amazing happens. I brought up the data entry keyboard. This is one of the amazing benefits of a touch interface and soft keyboards. The default keyboard is exactly what you need for numeric data entry, to quickly get at and enter data in your cells. Or I could bring up a time
Not sure that I've ever
to do formulas
actually
using time and date.
used
Of course,
numbers.
I can enter text. And I've got access
Can't
to all
remember,
my
but I
formulas
don't
and
think I ever
functions.
have.
There's over 250 formulas and functions built in to Numbers.
Do I even have it? Is it one of those default ones? Oh yeah, it's on here.
Built on it right here by tapping.
We'll find out
But
if
what
I have any
want to do
documents.
is simpler than that. I just want to do a sum on the
No,
column.
clearly
And
not.
that's
Welcome to
a button right
Numbers.
there on the keypad, so I'll tap it. Sum. And Numbers is smart enough that it
View my
recognizes
spreadsheets.
where I am,
Nope,
the
I got
column of
nothing.
data, and automatically created the formula to sum that column. All I have to do is tap the green checkbox to accept it because it's right. And what if I want to move and
because
fill that
Excel
across
is
all of
on
them? I could copy and paste.
is on
but there's an even
iOS.
faster way.
I use
just
that.
Tap that cell. I tap fill, and now I drag the
Or
yellow
Google
box
Sheets.
across to where I want
Clearly
to
never
fill
used it
across,
on this
and it's done
device.
that. It's filled across and automatically created my subtotals. You see a pie
Let's hear it for
chart
subtotals.
I have easy
Woo!
ability to affect that pie chart. I can tap the info button, change it to a different style graph, or change the way it looks. Make it black and white, or give it really vibrant colors. And what if I think Chris has done a great job, and I want to
That's a
highlight
lot of creative
that
apps.
pie. I'm
Good
going to
stuff.
drag it out of the pie chart. I just hold my finger on it and drag to position it wherever I want. Again, things that are hard to do on a spreadsheet with a keyboard and mouse are really easy to do with this touch interface.
Yes.
Numbers
Touch
are so
and drag
powerful.
is
You can
so
create
different to
spreadsheets
click
like
and
this one that has
drag.
formulas, checkboxes, ratings. I can even take a table just like this one, and in one simple tap command, create a form. Now, all the data in that spreadsheet
I'm really
is
sorry,
represented as
but
a form
I
on the
think we
tablet
understand.
that I can enter.
We're
I can
going to
see
move
the
on a little bit. I'm just going to give him a little skip.
That's just great.
So yeah, $10 each for your iWork
Import and
apps.
export.
You
You
can
run
do
it
all the
with that.
importing and exporting.
Thank you, Phil.
All right, we're coming back to Steve.
Isn't it great?
We're finished. Oh, isn't it great?
I'm very happy.
As you can see, we have 11 minutes left on this show, so it is going to be a longer one. I
few other
think
things.
Jade will be kicking off around
Let's
about
talk for a
now,
minute about iTunes.
but we're going to finish off by learning
The
about
iPad
iTunes and the
syncs
iPad.
over USB with iTunes running on your Mac or your PC.
This is the music stuff.
Exactly like an iPhone or an iPod Touch. And so when you sync everything. You can sync your photos, your music, your movies, your TV shows, your contacts, your calendars, your bookmarks, and of course, all those applications that you might have already bought for your iPhone or your iPod Touch. Backups are synced back. If you ever lose your iPad and you get another one, you can restore it right from the backup, right where you left off. So USB syncing to iTunes running on your Mac or your PC. We think this is a real benefit. Now I'd like to talk about wireless networking. Every iPad has Wi-Fi in it, the latest and greatest Wi-Fi. But we're also going to have models of iPad with 3G, cellular wireless data built in, as well as Wi-Fi. Now, what does it cost for the data plans? Well, in the US, telecom companies typically charge about $60 a month for a data plan for a laptop. We've got a real breakthrough here. We've got two awesome plans for iPad owners. The first one gives you up to 250 megabytes of data per month. That's a fair bit of data. Most people will get by on that. Up to 250 megabytes.
And no one will need more than 640K of RAM.
$14.99. $14.99. And if you feel you need more, we have an unlimited plan for
Unlimited.
just $29.99.
That
So
became
these are real
reasonably controversial over time. That was an unlimited plan
deal with AT&T.
because if you got it early, you got grandfathered in on it. But if you tried to get there afterwards, they quickly realized that people were just abusing it and using way too much data.
And AT&T is throwing in free use of their Wi-Fi hotspots all throughout the US. They have more Wi-Fi hotspots than anyone, and this is really great as well. Now, how do you turn this on and manage it? You don't have to go to a store. You don't have to call anybody. You can activate this right on the iPad itself.
Yeah, 250
And
was
There's
even
no
small back
contract.
then.
It's prepay. So there's no contract, and you can cancel it anytime you want.
It'd have to be GarageBand.
So for $14.99
It is just my
you can
go-to.
buy your new iPad, activate it right on the iPad.
Although LumaFusion.
$14.99 a month for 250 megabytes of data.
So LumaFusion is my video editing app. So that would be, that's this one here. That would be what I would go to if it wasn't GarageBand. As you can see, this is what I use to do all of my video editing on my iPhone and iPad.
What about
LumaFusion.
international? Well, we hope to have our international deals in place in the June-July timeframe. We think we can probably do a lot of them by June. And so we're going to start on that tomorrow. However, all of the iPad 3G models are unlocked. And they use the new GSM micro SIMs. So internationally, some of the carriers offer micro SIMs. It's a very high likelihood they'll just work. And we'll be back this summer with some even better deals for our customers internationally.
Pause for applause.
So Wi-Fi plus 3G if you want it. We're very excited about this. And so iPad. It's phenomenal.
There's your
to hold
phenomenal.
the internet in your hand.
You would get there.
Email. It's fantastic on this device. It's the best device I've ever seen for enjoying and sharing photography. Great for enjoying your music collection.
How much does it cost, Steve?
And video is phenomenal on it.
Another phenomenal. Doubled up.
It runs almost all of the 140,000 apps on the App Store, as well as a whole new generation
All right,
of apps.
we have to cut you,
that will be
Steve.
designed
I'm sorry,
specifically
but we're going to
for the
go and find
iPad.
out because
$1,000, which is code for $999.
this is what they were originally saying, that it's going to be $1,000.
When we
What's
set
it gonna
out
be, though,
to
Steve?
develop the iPad, we not only had very ambitious technical goals and user interface goals, but we had a very aggressive price goal because we want to put this in the hands of lots of people.
Which you
And
have.
just like we were able to meet or exceed our technical goals, we have met our cost goals. And I am thrilled to announce to you that the iPad pricing starts not at $9.99, but at just $499.
Ooh, there you go.
$499.
$499 for the 16 gig iPad first generation. And here we are now in 2020. And let me just say that I paid a little more than $499 for my latest iPad Pro. We are going to finish off there because we're at the 1 hour mark, and that is enough. There you go. You can see the prices there as we go. Now, this was the last sort of major presentation that Steve Jobs actually did. As you probably know, he sadly passed away in 2011, so just over a year after this presentation. But yeah, it was definitely a revolutionary creator, revolutionary design, like just all of the things that came out of Apple at that time, between what we've done on this series from right back when we looked at GarageBand, we looked at the first iPod ever, we looked at the first iPhone ever, and now the first iPad ever. They were four revolutionary things for creators, for iOS creators, and we wouldn't be where we are now. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't be doing this on this channel if it wasn't for all of these devices. So yes, I'm neither an Apple fanboy, an Apple apologist, or an Apple hater, but you can't really argue with the fact that these things are ubiquitous these days, and they allow you to do some ridiculous things when it comes to music, video creation, and all of the rest. That is going to do it for this one. Thank you for being here. If you're here live, jump over because Jade Starr is about to do a live show now. If you're watching on the replay, if you got some value from this, hit the like button. Let me know your comments. If you got answers to the questions that we went through in the video, put those down in the comments as well. Any questions or any additional comments, would love to hear from you as always. But I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will catch you for something a little different next time. But again, if you want to catch any of the 4-part series that we did on this one, you can catch all of those replays on the channel. Take care, folks. Have a great day and keep creating. See ya.